Today we are going to discuss about inflation and interest rate. Now what exactly is an inflation rate? An inflation rate can be called as an increase in the price level. When I say price level, it is the increase in the price of all the commodities, not just one commodity. Let's say if the price of a commodity is 100 rupees today, okay, and if there is an inflation rate of 10%, it means that in the next year, at the very same point of time, the rate of the commodity will be 110. This is called as inflation rate. The price rises. Remember, when I say there is a rise in the price level, but of course there should be something which is falling, and that is nothing but the value of the money. So we can always say that if there is an inflation of 10%, the value of Indian rupees will depreciate. Now inflation is something which we can see in all the countries, not just India, everywhere. Now, what is interest rate? Interest rate, you can always say it is the price of money. Higher the interest rate, the more expensive is the money. Lower the interest rate, the cheap is the money. Now let's say, for example, if the interest rate provided by a bank for depositing for 1 year is 8%, it means that after 1 year the maturity amount would be 108. So you make 8 rupees as interest. Now let's combine both the concepts, that is inflation and interest rate. Let's say, for example, if the interest offered by the bank is 8% and the inflation rate is 10%. So if you deposit an amount of rupees 100 for 1 year, you would get an interest rate of rupees 8 by the end of the year. So your maturity amount is 108. But voila, what happens is, if the inflation rate is 10%, the price of the commodity has increased by 10%. So if a commodity which was 100 rupees this year, and next year it would be like 110. So from the bank you got 8 rupees, and the price of the commodity, however, has increased to 110. So if you look at it, you ideally did not earn money, but you lost 2 rupees. Now I'll take the other way around. What if the interest rate offered by the bank is 10% and the inflation rate is 8%? So in a way, if you look at it, by the end of year, your deposit amount of rupees 100 will mature at 110, and in the meantime, the price of the commodity which was 100 this year, next year it would be 108. So if you look at it, you have now earned rupees 2. So the beauty is, in interest rate, when you think about it, there are two types of interest rate. One is a nominal interest rate, the interest rate which is offered by the bank. And however, there is another interest rate which is called as a real interest rate, which is actually talking about your real earnings. Like in case of our example, your earning was only 2%. So the real interest rate becomes 2% and the nominal interest rate is 10%. I hope the concept is clear. So we can say the nominal interest rate minus inflation rate is the actual earning, and that is nothing but your real interest rate. Thank you.